Alright, so ever since the start of the Boruto anime on April 5th of 2017, everybody has been wondering how things take such a turn to the point where they end up fighting each other in a destroyed Konoha, right? There's a couple of theories that have been going around. There's mainly 5 theories that have been going around that kind of explain what could possibly be going on in this situation, right? Some of them are pretty similar, and all of them have some evidence to point in this direction as to why this is going on, right? Starting off with number 1, Kawaki is the villain and went rogue. Now, this is honestly the most prominent one, and this is the one that most people would jump to conclusion right away, due to the fact that it seems like it has the most evidence pointing in this direction. First of all, in the actual fight against Kawaki versus Boruto, you get to see a very, very little, small, tiny portion of it, a little tidbit to kind of have an idea of what's going on. And we kind of have to keep in mind what they say during that fight. They mention that the age of the shinobi is over, and Boruto says that he doesn't think that Kawaki would go this far, where Kawaki basically says, "I'll send you where I sent the 7th," right? Implying that he killed the 7th, and that he's gonna do the same to Boruto, and Baruto's like, "Hey, is this the only outcome?" So it basically, taking this at face value, it makes it seem like Kawaki is the villain here, and Kawaki is the one that's going to lead to the downfall of Konoha. But as we see in the anime, this kind of contradicts Kawaki's actual feelings about the 7th. Kawaki actually loves Lord 7th, and he feels like he is actually, like, giving him a home. The only way that I feel like this would change, and he wants to protect Naruto against Jigen, as we see in, Boruto episode 204, and if you've read the manga, you've already seen bits and pieces of this showing how much Kawaki loves Naruto, right? The only way I can see this changing is if, he betrays Kawaki, which I don't think is in Naruto's character. Like, Naruto would never do that. So this is definitely one major possibility, and it looks like what the show is leaning towards. But there are a couple other ones, and seeing how sneaky the show likes to be with characters like Amato and Jigen and Code and the Ten Tails, I think that they might go one of these alternate routes. The second major theory as to what's going to happen towards the end of the show after the time skip, Boruto is the villain and he goes rogue. The pieces of evidence that people have been using to argue that Boruto is the one that goes rogue are that, first of all, if you actually watch the Hokage faces that they're standing on, the side that Boruto's standing on is the destroyed half, whereas the side that Kawaki's standing on is the pristine, the fine half, like the undestroyed half of Naruto's face. Now, this is very symbolic, and it could represent that Boruto was the one that went rogue, and this is justified by the fact that Boruto seems to be going down the same route that Sasuke went. As you can see, with Sasuke being his mentor, he's a lot of similarities with Sasuke, the lightning release, chakra nature. So it just, little things that kind of point towards Boruto being more like Sasuke than like Naruto. And, with Kawaki being trained by Naruto and probably going to be trained by Naruto for the time skip, it's very possible that they could be going down the routes of their teachers and their senseis, and that Boruto could be the one going rogue. Now, again, there's not a whole lot of evidence to point in this direction, and the way that the conversation goes can be kind of translated to making either one of them seem bad, but I feel like it's a lot harder to argue that Boruto is the villain given the dialogue that we're given, unless they decide to just completely retcon some of the things that they said. It makes it seem like Kawaki's going to be the villain, but again, it could be Boruto due to these pieces of evidence, and due to the fact that Boruto is the one that says that the shinobi age is over. Maybe he had some sort of enlightenment and see something in a different perspective. I'm not really sure, but that brings us to our third theory or possibility that could happen. These last couple are very similar to each other, but they're all definitely possibilities, right? The first one is most obviously that Ishiki possessed Kawaki's body, right? There's a couple of flaws in this theory, but hey, it's possible, and let's kind of go over why. So we know that the whole karma, I have a video explaining the karma, but the whole karma is a way that Otsutskis reincarnate into other people's bodies when they're defeated in battle, right? So basically Momoshiki was defeated and I guess killed, quote unquote, and so he reincarnates into Boruto's body and takes it over so he can kind of come back, right? Same thing with Ishiki. Only issue with that is that Ishiki was still alive. He had a karma on Kawaki, and his actual body ended up dying in a fight with Naruto, right? And because Kawaki had his karma seal removed, Ishiki can no longer reincarnate in his body, and he's no longer becoming more like an Otsutsuki, even though we see that he has a karma at the end, and he's being pressured by Amato in order to get his karma seal back as a weaponized karma seal. But if Ishiki manages to take over Kawaki's body again, that would make a lot of sense as to why Kawaki would be evil. There's a couple of minor issues with that. The issues that I have with it, and why I don't think that's the case, is because usually when we see Momoshiki or Ishiki taking over Kawaki or Boruto or Jigen's body, we see some like visual signs. You know, usually we see some horns, or we see their eye changing, or their hand changing. You know what I mean? Like there's more signs than just the karma spreading. You know what I mean? There's some physical changes. You could also argue that Jigen didn't have this on him, but he was being, if you know what Ishiki's ability is, he can turn himself very small, and he can go inside someone and kind of take them over from there, and then give him the karma after, which is what he did with Jigen. Could he have done with this with Kawaki? Probably not, because he's dead right now. But that's always a possibility on the table that the show can kind of fall back on if they decide to choose that. The next theory is that Code takes over Kawaki's body. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the last theory, but let's go over this one first, because this is also a possibility, although this one seems to be more unlikely than the other ones. So essentially, theory goes that Boruto and Kawaki wanted to place a karma seal on Code in order to take over his body and essentially kill him. That was their easy way out to take over, to beat him, right? Amato confirms that this may be possible, but it could be unlikely because he's already got a karma seal on him, even though it's a failed karma seal. It's a white karma, and it's just a weaponized karma. So Amato offers to give Kawaki a weaponized karma as well, which is going to be a little bit prominent later on. Anyways, so the theory goes, what if Code manages to, you know, flip the script on Kawaki? What if Code manages to reincarnate himself into Kawaki's body? That makes a lot of sense, because that would essentially lead us to getting an evil Kawaki, right? Now again, it seems pretty unlikely because Boruto and Kawaki can seem to be able to do this because they are partially Otsutsuki, and Code is not, although he's just a failed vessel, which is why he has his own karma. But hypothetically, if he was still able to do it, just with having its own karma, then he would probably flip the script on Kawaki and do the same. Again, I feel like there would be some visual differences. Maybe not as many as if Ishiki took over his body, but again, that theory is always on the table for the show to kind of lie on, you know what I mean? The last theory, which is one that I'm personally more of a fan of, although I personally think that Kawaki going rogue might be the actual what actually happens. This is what I feel like might also be pretty likely, and is what I've seen some people like Meek and I think Boruto Explained kind of talk about, is that Amato takes over Kawaki's body. Now this one sounds kind of weird, but there is a lot of evidence to point towards this, right? First of all, if you see in the most recent episodes of the Boruto manga, you see that, first of all, I think we can all agree that Amato's pretty suspicious. Like, he gives like 3-4 side eyes a chapter. Like, he is very, like, those glasses should have been a dead giveaway, man. But he quote-unquote defected to Konoha, but I feel like he's more of like an Aizen character from Bleach who has his own agenda, and I feel like he could be hiding some things, right? So at the end of, I think it was Boruto chapter 59, he's talking to Sumire, who we all know kind of became his protege in order to spy on him. And she mentions that, like, asking why he wants to implant the karma back to Kawaki, because we know that a couple times he offered to give Kawaki back his karma, weaponized karma, so he can still use it in battle, right? Because we see that Kawaki subconsciously still wanted his karma back, and he tried to absorb some of Boruto's attacks in their previous fight, although he had it removed. And Sumire asks him like why he wants to do that, and if he has another agenda, which he ends up calling her really dumb or stupid or something, because she revealed that she had suspicions about him, or at least I believe, right? So I think that kind of makes it pretty obvious that Amato definitely has his own agenda, and I think it has to do with Kawaki's karma. And to further elaborate on that point, when we look at the Otsutsuki dimension, where we see those Otsutsuki tablets, or I forget what they're called, you know, the giant wall with the Otsutsuki markings on it, right, that Sasuke was looking at, you see that 2 of them are scratched off. If you look at the image, you see Kinshiki, Momoshiki, Kaguya, Ishiki, and then there's like 2 more. that are like scratched out. I think I might have missed one off the top of my head. It could have been like Urashiki or something. Anyways, there's 2 that are scratched out, and there's a lot of theories going around explaining like what those 2 are, but it could be potentially 2 new Otsutsukis that could be to be shown later on, right? And if that is the case, one of them, it has been theorized by many people that it could be Amato, right? Because Amato's, first of all, super suspicious, and it would make sense why he wants to implant a karma onto Kawaki. He could take over his body, but only issue with that is because Amato already has a body. It could be either that maybe Amato is being possessed, kind of like Jigen was, and he and the body that he's in is not a perfect vessel, so he wants to take over Kawaki's body. It would make a lot of sense because it would give Amato a motive, right? Because we know that Amato has a motive, and it seems to be something big, just due to the suspicious nature of his actions, and it would explain Kawaki going rogue later on. Although, again, the only issue with most of these theories is that Boruto refers to Kawaki as Kawaki. Unless he doesn't know he's being possessed, he still thinks it's Kawaki. So it's very difficult to decide what exactly is going to happen with later on in the show. We kind of just gotta wait till at least we get the time skip or so. These are the top 5 prominent theories that have been circulating throughout. Let me know what you guys think below. Let me know what your theories are, and hopefully you guys are as excited as I am to see what is going to happen later on. If you guys want to chat with me, debate with me, talk anything Naruto, Boruto, Dragon Ball, don't forget to join the Discord link down below. And also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.